Hey guys, we had an FAQ video all recorded and all lined up ready to go for today. The video was going to talk about Brisbane City Council's interactive mapping program, how to find it, how to use it, and some more advanced tips so you could learn to get the most out of the program. Well, yesterday afternoon I received a phone call from a very frustrated client, and his question just screamed FAQ Fridays. Given how timely his question was, I thought I'd come in here early this morning and jump behind the camera to record a fresh video just for today. So, what was his question? Well, stick around and you'll find out. Come on, it's called suspense. I've got to build it up a little bit, right? So what was his question? Well, it was actually really simple. Have the rules changed? My response? Well, yeah, back in December, Council dropped some amendments. They changed the planning scheme. Now, I don't remember the specifics of this particular situation, but for the sake of this video, let's say he came to me 6 to 12 months ago. He asked me whether specific components of his proposal would trigger a town planning application. My advice at the time was no. We can draw on all these various exemptions to get the application as a whole out of a town planning application. That's right, isn't it? Get his proposal out of a town planning application. That's what I should have said. Fast forward to now, his builder, who was potentially quoting on the job, unbeknownst to him, came to me and asked the exact same question. My advice this time around was yes. Unfortunately, there's no way to get out of a town planning application. He obviously went back to the building designer, and the building designer went, "What the? I've already checked this." Yeah, unfortunately, the rules can and sometimes do change. Sometimes they're just minor administrative things that actually have absolutely no impact on the way you operate day to day. Sometimes they're actually really good. So things that may have previously not been exempt may suddenly become exempt, or council might provide further clarification on an exemption so that we can use it more frequently or more often. Sometimes the changes aren't so good. So things that may have previously avoided a town planning application, they may have been exempt, now may suddenly trigger an application. To give you a few examples, the changes that dropped in December. So on the positive front, previously carports on large traditional building character, that's a bit of a mouthful, large traditional building character overlay corner allotments were accessible. There was a small exemption clause that basically, or get out of jail clause that said this does not apply to corner allotments. Now they've amended the planning scheme to remove that little statement. So suddenly, if you've got one of those large traditional building character overlay corner allotments, you don't need a town planning application if you want to do a carport to the side. Happy days. Now another example is pools. So pools on large traditional building character overlay allotments. Previously, they technically triggered town planning approval. Most people didn't realise and just went ahead, let's be real, and did them without the town planning approval. But now council has actually amended the scheme to say that in-ground pools and associated structures up to 10 square metres in area no longer trigger town planning. Another example is, the rear extension. Okay, so basically there's an exemption clause that says that you can extend to the rear of an existing house. Council has now provided clarification as to what the rear means, which means essentially we have more confidence in using that exemption. So it was great. On the flip side, they've amended the minor demolition definition, there's a bit of a mouthful, to clarify that when you have a large, or not necessarily large, but just a traditional building character overlay allotment in the Sherwood Graceville District Neighbourhood Plan area, you cannot raise the house without triggering a town planning application. Another example, they've basically amended this definition to say that when the site is within the local character significance sub-precinct of the traditional building character overlay, you cannot enclose under the core of the existing dwelling. That's a standard exemption that we use all across the city. But now the LCS sub-precincts, it cannot be used. Another example is when it comes to reduced rear setbacks on small lots. The performance criterion previously just talked mainly about privacy impacts. Now they've inserted this little clause that references vegetation. They basically say you need to leave enough room at the rear of the property to provide for vegetation and garden beds and screening and all that sort of stuff. That's a bit of a game changer in terms of performance solutions. So, what can you do about it? Well, there's probably two things I'd suggest. Firstly, when you go to clients, I'd actually make it very clear to them, or essentially manage their expectations from the start, Make them realise that these things can change. It is rare, but they can change. That way, if something does pop up down the track, you can sit there and go, yeah, you know how we talked about that? Yeah, it's kind of happened. And they can't get angry at you. The other thing is, if you have a job, or I should say number 2 in my to-do things, is if you have a job that's going to go over an extended period of time, or if one of your jobs suddenly gets put on hold and you know it's going to be sitting around for a while, then make a note to yourself to check in with your town planner, maybe every couple of months, just to check that the rules have not changed. That way you don't get any nasty surprises at the end of the job. So there you have it. The rules can change. Sometimes negligible, there we go, that's what I was looking for, changes. Sometimes positive changes, and sometimes negative changes. If you've liked this FAQ Friday video and you have a burning question that you would love for me to cover off, then why not comment below? If you love this video and you'd like to see more of these videos, then like, comment and share, because if I see lots of likes, comments and shares, I'll assume that I'm on to a winner and I'll keep going. Until next time, thanks for watching.
For all you red tape lovers out there, I have one thing to say. Well, no actually, I've got 3. Number 1, the advice provided in these videos is general in nature. It's not site specific. You would be a silly Billy to go and make financial decisions based on this advice without first checking with the town planner. Don't be a silly Billy. Number 2, Brisbane town planning is in no way linked to Brisbane City Council. The views expressed in these videos are my own, not council's. So if you don't like them, blame me, not council. Number 3, what was my number 3? Oh yeah, the views expressed in these videos are accurate at the time of recording. If you're watching this video back 10 years from now, the views may not be so accurate. That's all.